Welcome to Situational Awareness Tactics Podcast. This podcast provides the crucial art of understanding current elements in an environment to increase your safety and survival. Here's your host, forensic psychologist and consultant, Dr. Carlos.
Welcome, everybody. Today we got a special guest with us. He's actually all the way in Mexico, down in Monterrey, Mexico, in a state called Nuevo León. There are about 32 states in Mexico. It's actually one of the largest states in Mexico. I think it's one of the number top 5 or 6, almost 4 million people. And what does he do? Well, Jose Carlos actually is one of the coaches at Engage Applied Defense Systems. They teach urban survival, combatives, unconventional warfighting, security solutions, close protection, weapons training, and Libre fighting system. If you haven't seen it, I would definitely check out the Libre fighting system as well. And you can find engage_applied_defense_systems on Instagram. And I highly recommend that you give them a follow and check out to see what they're doing. Really cool stuff. So I think you're going to look forward to this podcast. All right, let's not waste any more time. And welcome to the show, Jose Carlos. Welcome, sir.
Hello, good afternoon. How are you?
Great. Thank you for being here. Let me ask you, Jose, you got a lot of stuff that you teach.
Yeah.
First of all, tell us a little bit about some of the programs that you offer, and then I'll start asking more specifics. But what are some of the programs you offer?
All right. So basically what we're looking at is finding a way to provide the person who comes to train a way for you to survive inside an urban setting. Urban survival doesn't focus only on packing gear and knowing self-defense and using weapons. Urban survival starts about knowing how you have to take care of yourself with a good physical condition, fitness stuff, eating healthy, knowing basic first aid stuff. If you want to know more about attention to trauma issues, casualty care. And we also try to teach them about, depending on their setting, the use of the weapons that they can carry. I am a certified Krav Maga instructor, so I try to narrow it down for prevention, and then doing some type of self-defense to avoid an incident, to escape, to give you the chance to fight back and escape. What I always say is plan A is being preventive, carrying your stuff, being prepared. Plan B is, using the self-defense, your reaction, your fight or flight skills. I mean, it's all valid. Plan C is when you're already the situation escalated, and now you need to be violent. You need to use your weapon. You need to use your knife, or probably you were already being abducted or something, and you need to learn how to escape from your from being a hostage, from being kidnapped. So, first of all, we like to understand what is going on in here. So, like 10 years ago, being kidnapped was easy here. Was normal. So you have to learn how to prevent being an easy target, or what to do if you are being kidnapped. You also have to understand what other issues are in these places. Sometimes you can be in some area in Mexico where there used to be like a firefight. You will see like they will steal a truck and park it on one end of the street and steal another one and have a firefight, and probably you will be in between it. So you learn how to avoid that stuff, to see it before when it's going to happen, to cover yourself, to not get shot by mistakenly, because sometimes they will shoot people thinking that they are part of the other group. So you have to understand all the situation of what are the groups that are having rivalries in this area, and what is their agenda, and avoid all this stuff. Don't go to this place, don't go to these places. There are places that are targets from organized crime. They are extorted, and sometimes they will get attacked middle of the day. So you will probably be a victim just for being in there. So it's all about prevention and understanding where you are. The self-defense, well, it has to be more like a reactive stuff. You cannot fight your way against armed people. You just have to learn how to avoid situations, fight and react and leave, escape. We train also the libre fighting part. The Mexican syllabus covers what is oriented to the Mexican issues. Since you see the libre fighting in the United States, it works a lot with knives and stuff. But here in Mexico, we will go through a more endemic stuff, and we will look for ideas fighting against a guy who has a gun in his belt. Since in Mexico, it's not that easy to carry a gun, so you can use your knife, but you cannot also carry a knife in some areas because it's illegal to carry a knife without a purpose. So then we will learn how to fight with a piece of metal, with a bottle of glass, with something, with a pencil, with some scissors, with an improvised blade, because it's a better idea. And if you get caught with a knife, well, you will probably have a hard time. But if you get caught with, hey, this is piece of metal that I found on the floor, well, it was what I found and it helped me, and it's not a weapon. So it's a little changing the criteria. Yeah,
that's creative.
Yeah, we will also improvise weapons, adapt to other situations. On the syllabus, we include some of the combat situations oriented against a kidnapper, because that's the real enemy that we can encounter. We also do. Yes.
I can ask you a quick question. You made me think of something. In Mexico, let's say you did bring a knife and somebody tried to do something and you stabbed them and unfortunately you killed them. How does the legal system work there? Are you going to be in trouble because of that, or?
Well, you have to show that your life was being threatened and that you had to respond that way. Since if the other guy had a weapon and you attacked with a knife, well, it was him or you, and you were defending yourself. You have to know what words to use. Like, I was defending myself. Situations here in Mexico. Yes?
Oh, go ahead.
In Mexico, I mean, if the guy has a gun and you have a knife, I mean, it will be totally acceptable. But sometimes he was not carrying a nothing and you use the knife. That will get you in trouble probably if you cannot show that your life was in trouble. Here we had some issues. I was on a high school, high-end high school in here, and we had this issue that the kids will go to the 7-Eleven on the corner, and there was another neighborhood nearby, so gangs will come down and they will go approach the children, the kids, the teenagers, and ask them for their money. The guys, they don't have any weapons, and the guys wouldn't hurt them. So since they didn't hurt them, actually the police will say, hey, you decided to give him your money. There was no violence in this crime. It's not a violent crime because there is no weapon involved. But these guys will know how to put fear on them, and they will like, yeah, I don't wanna have trouble with you. So it was an issue that this school had, because you're not getting any physical damage shown, so you cannot do any type of report, and you cannot also show that there was any weapon involved. So these guys will understand better the law than the rich kids, and they will use it against them. So it was an issue. It was a real issue that it was happening in this school. It was people learn how to prevent that kind of stuff, and it stopped. It lowered a little bit.
Let me ask you this. In regards to everyday carry, I always ask my guests, what do they have for everyday carry? Do you recommend some things that are no matter what environment you're in, you should carry? What are some of the things you would recommend for your everyday carry?
Well, for my everyday carry, yeah, I myself carry two blades, a small one. Sometimes I carry like a regular switchblade and a flashlight, a small flashlight, and I carry my wallet, but it doesn't have any money. I carry my money in someplace else. I carry my keys separated from the keys from the car, just in case that I get lost the keys of the car. They won't have access to my house, or the other way, they get access to my and they don't. So there are some type of stuff. I carry the regular escape and evade kit to open shims, padlocks, and zip ties. I carry the little lights, and sometimes I carry, I don't know, I can carry, depends of the job that I'm going to do. I always carry 3 layers. The layer that is on my body, inside of a cigarette box, tin can. I carry regular first aid kit stuff and a lighter, another light, and some silicone and little tools. That's the first layer. What I carry in my pockets: my knife, my tin can, and my flashlight. The second one is the what I carry in my backpack. I carry a full trauma kit, casualty care. I carry another flashlight. I carry my neoprene mask with the N95 stuff. I carry another shirt, another sweatshirt, a cap, and regular tools. Zip ties, a little small duct tape. How do you call it? Stuff to barricade doors, and what else did I carry? And more tools for opening or closing stuff. And on the car, I carry another big kit, usually with more self-defense stuff like my baton, handcuffs, another pair of my gloves, my protective gloves, another trauma kit, and another first aid kit. So it's like I carry a lot of stuff because I am outside all day, and I have to go through different places, and sometimes I do security at night. I do my regular work in the morning, then I do teaching, and then sometimes I do security stuff. Sometimes I'm called in between, like, hey, we have this issue, can you come, can you see this? Or sometimes can you send someone? And I need to have all my tools available because I don't know if I'm coming back home. Sometimes stuff happens and they say you're supposed to have everything because you were the instructor, so you have to carry everything just in case, because if not, you're not the example that you are selling. So sometimes I'm not going to require everything, so I have learned to pack everything like in the more minimalistic stuff, and to not represent a big burden to be carrying. But I really have to have everything just to set an example for others that are with me, because sometimes we'll buy all this trauma stuff and nobody carries them. And like, hey man, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I know on your site, again, folks, it's engage _ applied _ defense _ systems on Instagram. You do some training. I wanted to see if we can discuss if that's okay with you.
Yeah, sure.
You did a training, I think, a couple of days ago, a few days back, a training session that you had on urban survival. What did you do on that? Is that for the general public, or?
Yeah, we have this small group from some places of the country, and they get through this video application. We are doing this survival training that is focused, first of all, in your person. What do you carry? Like what we spoke right now. We do some edge weapons training, focused on the Liver Knife Fighting Guild training right now. That's the base for our knife training. And we are doing every half an hour sessions afterwards where we involved other stuff regarding these issues. One day we brought a combat medic to do some explanation of some stuff. One day we brought some guy from the special force of the, how do you call it, federal police force, to come and tell us how the police are addressing issues about the riots and stuff. So for you to understand what is going on when there's a riot and what to not to do, how, let them operate. So we brought this guy. We have been bringing other guests. Ed Calderon was with us last week. He helped us with some of his explanation of stuff, also communication stuff and some of the EDC stuff that is new out there. And we also have this program that is designed for you to protect your house. It's a 4 to 5 day program. And
wow.
Yeah, so it was half an hour every day, but we try to keep it in stages so people will go going through the stages. How to understand your house, the limitations, the distances, and then we will do how do you have it protected? How does your neighbor protect his house? Because sometimes they will get through your house through your neighbors first, and how to defend it against burglaries and stuff like that. How to stash your money in crazy places. How to yeah, it's Mexico, man. So we also have this class that focuses mainly on everybody. Now that you understand your house and the limitations and the security you have, now you have to do a plan that involves all of the people in your house on how are you going to evacuate your house or barricade yourself in which room, depending of the situation that's going on. We set up a plan because when a situation happens and the situation is right now here, and right now I am making decisions, and right now I'm doing stuff. So no, you have to plan so you don't lose time making decisions during that moment. So we teach them how to understand about the house, where to stuff where to put your stuff, like your medikit, your keys to the cars, how to set up another place to see each other if everybody escaped through other places. We also had this day where we worked with weapons inside the house, like, hey, you have your gun. How are you going to cut through the corners? How are you going to understand what happens if I shoot my gun in this place of the house? Is it going to go through the door? Is it going to affect the communication with the noise? You have to understand which is the better place for you to defend your house with using a weapon, how to hide your family. If you have a gun at home, you have to teach your family at least all the security measurements of the gun and stuff like that for homeowners that have a gun.
Let me ask you this, Jose. What are some of the biggest mistakes you've seen working with people in their homes? Some of the things you're like, oh, no, don't do that.
Oh, well, it's because here in Mexico, what we say is, if you have 3 houses, house A has no security, house B has a little security, house C has a lot of security. So the Mexican burglar will say, hey, I don't want to go to class C because it has a lot of security. It will take me a lot of time. I will go to house A, but something tells me that house A doesn't have anything to hide, so I don't have anything to steal. So they will go through the house that is in the middle. Sometimes we like to heighten security for them to be like lazy about trying to get in. However, a high-end professional will say, hey, that house hides something and I want to go in there. So sometimes we have to lower a little bit our, how do you call it? Be a gray man also in your house. Some of the stuff that I have seen is that sometimes they try to get inside your front door and you don't notice, and you're hearing noises on the back, so they will lure you to see what's going on outside.
Oh.
Yeah, so people will fall through their traps. we have seen a lot of videos where you see, I mean, you have your security surveillance at home and you have it all day recording. And then one day they come and they steal you. And if you check those videos, you will notice that the guy who came before, one day before knocking, asking for a job, is the same guy that has been coming and going at the same time all day. And he already noticed your house and he's studying your house and he's the same guy that robbed you. So if you have security and you're not using it properly, you're not understanding what's going on outside, that's going to be an issue because people don't use the security videos until something happened instead of using it preventive. So it has been happening that way in some neighborhoods around here. So you see the guy was already here twice and you haven't noticed this is the guy who's going to steal from you. So if somebody comes here and knocks and I just shout from inside, hey, no, thank you. No, you have to go outside, make eye contact, make him feel like you are like acknowledging everything that's going on, that you are looking outside, that you're understanding what's happening, that you control your house. We used to have this drill. We will send 3 students to one house in one neighborhood and 3 to another, and they were like 15. And they will go through one of the guys, one of the groups of the guys will go to a house, and they will try to get inside the house. One of the guys lives in that house, so if the police comes, nothing will happen. Hey, it's my house, and oh, it's okay. So they will measure how much time they took. How did they get in without breaking stuff? How did they break in without everyone noticing? Did the police notice that you were doing some stuff? So, and then we'll do some statistics, and it will be great because it will help us understand that several neighborhoods are not being as guarded as they should. We had this issue with this. They are a big retailer here in Mexico, stores, like the Mexican Walmart, and they call us and, hey, like, we heard there was this issue where in the house of the owner of another company, he was giving us the example. And he was like, in this house, they got inside and they kidnapped all the family, and the bodyguards who were outside, they were the ones who brought the ransom money because they sent them and they paid the ransom and they left. What can we train our bodyguards for not that to happen? And I'm like, man, if you do not want that to happen, there's a lot of stuff that you have to change, starting from your bodyguards. You cannot give them a training on common sense. You have this huge house and you have 10 to 12 bodyguards, and you have then a driveway with a security gated entrance, with another guard in the entrance, with CCTV cameras. So your bodyguards are inside the house in a air-conditioned room with TV and a refrigerator and living a happy life while you're sleeping. But that is not their job. Their job is to be the counter surveillance, not just the surveillance. So the guy you have in the door, he has to understand what goes in through his narrow vision. But the bodyguards have to make rings around the house, know what type of police passes by, at what time, who else is driving by who shouldn't be around, why does this happen, why does he come, everything. And not being inside the house when you're already a prisoner too. So the guy was like, so we can do a counter surveillance course, we can do prevention stuff, we can do a lot of stuff before training you guys to shoot inside the house, because probably that's what you want to know. Like, oh, what are the tactics inside the big house? No, it doesn't need to happen if you have a good counter surveillance. So like the guy was like, hey, you're the third guy we interviewed today for this job, and the last 2 guys told me that they will fly over and they will teach them how to break the windows and have CQC training inside the house. And like, yeah, that's very fun and that's very expensive too. And it's not going to be used, and you're going to use it once and you will never use the house again. So you have to understand that prevention is what sells most because it's the cheapest and it's the safest. So
it sounds like
sometimes here in Mexico they sell too much of that stuff, flashy stuff. Yeah.
It sounds like the home burglars are similar there than they are here. It sounds like a lot of times they're scouting the houses before they get in. They see if you have dogs. They see how many people live there. Do they do that as well? Do they see if your cars are parked in the driveway and all that stuff?
Yeah, they do that. However, there's this difference. They will also not just come inside to rob. They will try to kidnap someone of the family. I mean, they know that in Mexico you don't have too much cash at home, so they will make security. They will kidnap someone and they will make it another situation. So you have to keep to be like a little. It's different. It's different because being kidnapped changes the situation. We have these issues. These are more normal here. They will follow you through your work. I mean, they will keep an eye on a business. I'm having this issue this week actually, and it's the second time with this customer. They will go through his business and they will be scouting him all day and following him and all that stuff. And then they will kidnap one of the employees and they will ask for information about the owner. And then there you go. So this guy calls me, hey, like I'm having this issue. All right, let me check. So we sent one of our guys inside and he started working like a normal guy there. And we found out who was the one who was giving information about this stuff. In another customer like this one, I'm telling you, it was almost the same. But this guy, he stopped going to work, and everybody, since the virus is right now, so everybody works at home. So he stopped going, and several of the key employees stopped going to work. And then they noticed that this gang that is around this area extorting people, was doing it to other neighbors in the area. So this guy he called the army, the Mexican army this week. He is the guy who he works for them in another stuff. So he had that contact, and the Mexican army went over and they did some presence and they stopped being there. So it was good. The army here is very trustworthy. I mean, it's you can trust them. You won't be harassed by them. You won't be. Yeah.
More than the police.
I don't like to talk bad about the police because I train them mostly. Several groups of them. No, I'm joking. I have trained with very good police officers here. I have several good police officers in my training groups. I teach on some levels on the police academies. However, sometimes the structures will be corrupted, and we can have some issues like that. On the borders, the border areas, sometimes you will have more issues with the police because border towns are lost. There's no control over them. Sometimes the police tries to do their job, but sometimes they are infiltrated or stuff. So it's bad.
We got about 5 minutes left. I wanted to ask you a couple of things too, if we can, in regards to tourism. What are some of the tips you would recommend for people going down to Mexico? What things would you not do, or what things would you do?
Well, tourism is a big part of Mexico, so they try to protect tourism very much. So actually, tourism is not like too much of a threat. If you're an American tourist, you can come over and visit tourism attractions, nice hotels, all that stuff. And it's usually safe. If you go out of your way through the gray areas of towns, you probably might have some situations. sometimes when you hear about, hey, Americans that were kidnapped in Mexico, well, because they were buying drugs, they were on weird places, so they try to mix in with the people. So it's different stuff. But if you come here on a tourism status, it's a good way to have fun and to get to know the country without being in trouble. Actually, cartels and all that stuff, they usually just mess with them and with people who are inside their levels. Tourism, they try to avoid it because they don't want that type of hit. It's like you tell me, I mean, I used to live in Michigan, and I never went to Detroit after 4 p.m. because I am smart and I know that I am never going to be in Detroit.
Smart
I lived there 7 months. So it's like it's the same. It works the same way here.
So you would advise not going out late at night or in certain parts of Mexico?
Yeah, in certain parts of Mexico, yeah, it's not safe.
I have to ask you
Like
this. Just
you
out of
want to be in Baltimore.
I
Yeah,
have to ask you this out of curiosity. I know some of my listeners out there, you might be familiar with this too. There's a place down there called Tepito.
yeah.
Is that as bad as they claim it is, or I heard it's a
Well,
little easier nowadays.
yeah, it's an easy area to be around. You can buy a lot of stuff, and they sell bulk of some of the pirate stuff, or sometimes when you go inside more, they say that there is like more piracy or stolen goods. So that's where it gets a little shady. However, more inside, it's like just their world. Their world. They're the ones who understand it. So actually, I've never been like inside there. I've been in the outskirts, and I have shopped there and everything. But inside, you need to have someone who lives there or is from there to go around, because it will be like dangerous for an outsider. Yes.
I would be.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, Jose, I wish I could keep you here all day because we got so many
Yeah.
questions to ask you, but
Lots of stories.
lots of stuff. Again, folks, you can find Jose at engage_applied_defense_systems. Are you doing any more of those online trainings coming up? Or?
Yeah, we're doing in Spanish. We do it every Saturday, and I'm gonna try to do in the middle of July an English only training for people, because I've done one before, so they can come inside and take it. My English is not so bad, but I have been in trainings. I have taught people from the United States several times, and they haven't had any negative comments about my English.
That's really good.
Yeah, so and we have been doing some classes in San Antonio. So
how do we get the online ones?
they can ask via Instagram through a direct message, and I can answer about prices and stuff and schedules.
Because you have one coming up right now, folks. He's got one on coming soon, webinar,
Yeah.
Preventative Habits by Vehicle.
Oh yeah, we're having that one. I forgot about it. Yeah.
When's
And
that?
yeah, and in 2 weeks also. It's gonna be in Spanish, but yeah, we're trying to put more English classes so we can, because we have had a lot of people asking for them, so it's gonna be fun, and we can show them a little bit of what we do in Mexico is different from what you do in the United States, where you can just easily fix everything with your gun. Here we don't carry any guns, so.
There's only one
Sad.
store in the whole country, right? There's only one store that sells guns there?
Yeah, there's only one store. Yeah, it's a big, it's very it's a lot of bureaucracy to buy a gun here. Yeah, and we don't have any good models available most of the times. We get some stuff, but it's hard.
Except for the cartels, of course.
Well, but they get it from you. Yeah, you're the biggest retailer, guys, in there. Oh yeah, mostly all of the cartel weapons come from other countries, actually.
Yeah, I heard now China's playing a lot.
Yeah.
China's doing a lot of that. All right, my friend. Again, folks, catch it. Engage_applied_defense systems. You definitely want to catch him. Make sure you pay attention to his Instagram. He's got trainings coming online, so you definitely don't want to miss that. Thank you so much, Jose, for being here. We truly appreciate it.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm honored and very happy about it.
Thank you, everyone, for listening. Make sure if you want to support our podcast to share and subscribe. We'll catch you all next time.